Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Friday and we are going to take a look at the Tasteful Artist Colored Pencils. These are an artist and student grade. These are an oil-based colored pencil. I did purchase these off of Temu and they are from China, but they're 48 colors. They are a very large pencil. And they're triangular. They're a 3.8 millimeter core, so almost a 4 millimeter core. The one thing that I will say about them that I'm not overly fond of, when I first looked at them, I thought this was the number for the pencils. It is not. That is the manufacturer's number. So yeah, they do have a little spot where you can write the number on in the order that you want to go. So they are a thick triangular design, good layering is what they say, and a 3.8 millimeter core. Um, it's a moderate hardness, so they are definitely a layering pencil. You don't want to try to squash them because they will take up your tooth of your paper. It says that they're nice bright colors, they're easy to sharpen, and non-toxic. So non-toxic conforms to the EN 71-3 standard. No benzene or 8 kinds of heavy metal elements conform to the general standard for student supplies. And they are an oily colored pencil, so that means that they are an oil base, not a wax base, and have a harder wax in them than, say, Prismacolors or something that is predominantly wax based. So it's good color stacking effect. They do come with their color chart on the back, which does have numbers. However, those numbers are not on the pencils, and I don't like the order that they are in, so I have put them in my own order and wrote the numbers on the pencils. Now, the one thing I don't like about having this on the back is they've got numbers attached to it. And everyone knows that a color that comes out of the pencil onto your paper is not going to be the same as a color that is printed via a printer. So even though this is going to have close to a color, it's not going to be the same, and you're not going to be absolutely positive which one of these this is, because it could be C38 or it could be C34. But because of the fact that they're not printed on the pencils themselves, and as I said, this is going to be a matter of personal vision and that sort of thing on whether or not you're going to be able to match these up. I was not able to, so I just numbered them from 1 to 48, put them in the color order. Well, I put them in the color order first, and then I numbered them from 1 to 48. All right, so one of the things that a lot of you are going to be wondering is how would you sharpen this pencil? So I have tested. This will not sharpen it. So this is the Stedler double, and yeah, it doesn't go in. So definitely would not sharpen it. However, that does sharpen like the Cretacolor Megas. But the crank sharpeners, so this one fits. You got to get past the corners. And once you get past the corners, nice, good sharpen. Now, will the Doll 133 sharpen the same way? Will it give you a nice, clean, tight sharpen? So this is the Doll 133. And I know my pencil is dirty. It's full. I gotta empty it. So it does fit. I can get it in there. And once you get past the corners, a nice easy sharpen. And it definitely does get it nice and sharp. So definitely going to say a crank sharpener is the best way to go when sharpening these pencils. So something like the Dial 133, the Deli, this is a Deli 0668, which is a little camera. It's really cute. So those kinds of things. Now I wonder if this one will work. This one here is my cheapest pencil sharpener. That is a crank, and it will not go in. So that one will not work. So definitely test your pencil sharpeners. Again, like I said, I did buy these off of Temu, so I won't be posting a link for them. But we are going to go through and review them, test them. We're going to do the swatch and that sort of thing. So grab your cup of coffee, sit back, relax. It is swatch time. Okay, so I apologize. The video decided that it was not going to film all the way through. So we did get up to this dark green here, and then we've got a gray green. We've got some browns from our light tanny into our um, terracotta kind of brown, our red brown, and then our dark brown. We've got a few grays here, a light gray, a medium gray, and a blue gray. Then we have our black, silver, and gold. So it has a fairly good range of color. We have really, I don't think enough yellows. Personally, I like a couple more yellows. But yellow is one of those colors that there's not a lot of variations of. But there is some good peach tones here into our yellowy orange, into our oranges, into our reds. There is a lot of pink in this set, a lot of pink. And then into our red violets, into our violets, our blues, also a lot of blue in here as well. So there's 8 blue in a 48 set. Same with green, it's got 8 green in there as well. So it's got a lot of those blues and greens like most inexpensive sets have. They have a lot of those blues, greens, and that sort of color. So I think they could have probably left out some of these blues. We do have a couple of blue greens and green blues, you know, that sort of thing. I think they could have probably left out one of these greens and one of these greens and given us a little bit more in the purples and yellows. That would have been nice. But, you know, it's a inexpensive 48 small set made for young artists coming into the art classes as well as younger students. So we do have the um, testing on the back of the page. Of course, the testing is available on my Ko-fi account. It is free, so if you want to download it, it is available to you. Of course, you can always add a donation if you choose to do so, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit here so that we can do some testing. So we've got our water brush to do our water test, and I have pulled the red, yellow, and blue colors out. So the red is in my swatch number 10, and I've got smuts on it. So let's start with the yellow. No, let's start with the red. Yeah, let's start with the red. I have not sharpened these, so this is straight out of the box. And as you can see, it does lay down a really good amount of color straight out of the box, which is a great thing. I don't usually sharpen the pencils before I swatch because I do want to know if they lay down well straight out of the box. Now we're going to sharpen this and finish off that circle and see how well it does after it's been sharpened. Get past the corners there. I'm going to zoom you in just a touch more. Now you may have noticed the past couple of videos my sound has been off, so I have decided to use a different software. So hopefully the sound issue is not horrible on this software, and that issue is fixed. If you have no sound or a lack of sound, that if I'm really, really quiet and you can't hear me even with a maximum volume on your device, leave me a message in the comment section below the video so that I can see if I can get that repaired, because I'm not sure what's going on with it, but OBS for some reason has decided that yeah, I have to have my volume at plus 2000% in order to be heard. So let me know. I'm just going to sharpen the yellow and the blue here as well. So it laid down a lot better after sharpening. So I'm going to sharpen the yellow and the blue. So you're going to get a little bit of shaky because of getting past that corner. Oh, that is a lot of shaky. Sorry about that. Getting past those corners. There's a lot of shaky. I'm trying not to shake. There you go. All right, so we've got the yellow. So, yeah, the red went down a lot nicer after they were sharpened. So I say that they do work straight out of the box. I will say that they do work better if you sharpen them. Get that down. Nice and heavy, just like I would if I was coloring a page. Now, the reason why I do the water test is because I do use a lot of liquid medium, such as Stickles, water-based medium, such as Stickles, watercolor, and things like that, for my backgrounds as well as for embellishments and that sort of thing, gel pen and so forth. So if your pencils are not water resistant, they will pick up what you're using that has a water base will pick up the color and move the color around into your page where you don't want it to be. So the reason why I do that test is because of the fact that I do a lot with those water-based mediums, and I don't want it moving into the page. Now I'm just going to dust this off, make sure I have all the bits of pencil removed. And then we're going to use our water brush and make sure that it's clean, first of all, because it looked a little yellow. I don't know if that, it's just stained from when I used it last. So then we're going to go here, and as you can see, there is water there, and that red is moving. It's not a lot of movement, but it definitely did move. And I did pick it up with the brush. So, and then our yellow. Not as much movement with the yellow, but it definitely, you can see that it has moved a little bit. And I did pick some up with the brush. So definitely not water resistant. You will have movement, especially if you are doing a watercolor background or that sort of thing, or scrubbing the water pen over top of your page. So be very careful with water-based mediums. Now, the smudge test is a test specifically for myself. You can definitely do the smudge test, and I do suggest that most people, well, that everybody do a smudge test. Your results will be different than mine, depending on your skin and that sort of thing. The reason why I do the smudge test is because I know that my body and my skin will move the pigment of the pencil. And 9 times out of 10, if they're not water resistant, they're not smudge resistant for me. So if you find that you move pencils a lot when you're coloring, and you go, rub your hand over top of an area that you've already colored, moving into another area, that sort of thing, definitely do this test on your pencils to see which ones will do that, because sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it does. And this test helps you understand which of those pencils is going to do that. And like I said, this test is very specific to you. Your results are not going to be the same as my results. Somebody else's results may not be the same as your results, and so forth. So this is very specific to one person on these results. The test itself, everybody can do, and I do suggest that everybody do it. But the results are definitely only specific to myself. All right. Now, hopefully like I said, hopefully the sound problem is taken care of. I'm getting really frustrated with it. So if you do find that you don't have a good sound quality on this video, let me know. Don't be shy about letting me know. It is something that I do need to repair, and I can't repair it if I don't know it's there. So let me know if there is an issue. No, I can't hear it because when I listen to my videos and so forth, I use my headset. I don't actually have speakers. So when I'm listening to something, it is through a headset that is, quite literally over top of my ears. So if it's an issue through speakers, I won't hear it. So, all right, so I'm going to take my hand. My hands are dry and clean. And as you can see, that red just moved right away. So did the yellow. And the blue's not as bad, but the red definitely did a beeline for the border, so to speak. So definitely sharpen and test your pencils before you use them. It will give you a good idea on whether or not um, that color is going to run from you. All right, so we're going to use, yeah, I think these 3. And I'm going to sharpen these, sorry. So you're going to get a little shaky because I'm going to sharpen these pencils. And move that out of the way. So you're going to get a little bit of shaking. So I do apologize. Trying to do it so that it doesn't shake, but it's like it gets very shaky, especially trying to get past those corners um, to give a good sharp point. And again, like I said, these do work directly out of the box. However, I do find, or I did find on the swatch, first part of the swatching, that when I sharpened it, it did color a little bit better and cover a little bit better um, once I sharpened it. So this test here, which is the 3-color blend test, will tell me whether or not I can blend these colors together to build a gradient blend. So it will tell me whether or not I can blend them together and eliminate those harder lines between colors, and whether or not the blend itself can be brought together as one. All right, so we're going to start with this one here. And I think this has got a little bit too much purple in it, but that's okay. We'll give it a try. And again, because these are an oil-based pencil, you are going to have to build that color up. And I apologize, I do have my phone not on silent because I do need to listen for phone calls in case somebody calls for a job interview. Because, yeah, I need a job. Unfortunately, the job I have right now, which is you guys, does not pay the bills. So if I want to contribute to the house, I need to step it up a touch. Step it up a notch. Okay. So now we're going to come in with a dark pink, and hopefully these will blend together because I didn't realize how purple that first one was going to be. I think it's this okay. Definitely see the pink going into the dark purple, darkening that up a little bit. I'm going to turn the page slightly here. Now the great thing about pencils that are square or triangular is they do seem to fit in the hand a lot nicer than a hexagonal or a um, round pencil. Sometimes with the round pencils I do find that my hands cramp up a little bit, but I don't usually get that with a triangular or a square pencil. And I do find it's easier to turn that pencil to be able to continue to keep that sharp point. Alright, so just darkening up the back area where we've got that blend going on. Leaving that front area for the next blend to come in. Like I said, these are a building pencil, so you will find that you need to put layers. Don't try to smush your pencils together to get those blends. You will find that you run out of tooth in your paper very quickly if you do that. So remember to do light layers and build that color up. So definitely am getting that blend going on, which does give me information of the factor that I can blend these together to get that gradient blend. I'm using the lightest color just to go over everything and get that filled in. So definitely does do the gradient blend. I could add more color on there to get rid of the white spot, but it does bring those colors together and do that fairly smoothly. All right, so now the next area that we're going to do is called a rainbow blend. And what a rainbow blend is where you take the primary colors, your yellow, red, and or your red, yellow, and blue, and you create orange, green, purple. All right, so we're going to start with our red. And I'm just going to put down a area of red. Now again, because these are a layering pencil, you are going to have to layer those colors together to create those colors. So we're going to put down a good layer of the red. Now when I go from red to yellow, it's going to give me that red orange. Once we put down the yellow, when we come back through with the red going over top of the yellow, you're going to see more of a yellow orange. I'm going to start back here so that when I bring that blue in, it doesn't have red involved in it. So that's going to be where the blue comes into the rainbow, creating the green. And then we have our yellow, and that's our yellow area. So I'm just going to make sure that I fill that in like so. And then we're going to come in to our orange area here. And as you can see here, we have that red-orange going on here. And we are bringing some of that red over with that lighter pencil. And you can probably see the red on the pencil tip. So be careful of that. Make sure that you wipe your pencil, especially if you're going over top of other pencils um, with a lighter color so that you can not drag that red in, or whatever color into another area later on. So make sure that if you're going over something that you wipe the pencil and get rid of the color that you've added. So definitely do get the yellow orange as well as the red orange. So there is definitely a color shift there from red to orange. Now into the yellow, we're going to take our blue. So we're going to start back here. Like so. And then we're going to bring this out a little. Now typically I don't put in the purple, but I do like to see if it's going to make purple for me. Then we're coming into that yellow with the blue, creating that green. So because I put the yellow down first, we're going to get the yellow-green first. Now when I bring that yellow back in, make sure I've wiped all the red off of it. You're going to see that yellow-green, and then we're going to go into the blue and create that blue-green. So that darker green and the lighter green. And then we're going to come back with the blue. And we're going to build that layer. So definitely does the green and the orange. Now we're going to come in with the red into the blue. And we're going to see if it will turn into that purple. All right, so we do have some purple there. It does need a little bit more blue though. And this is one of those colors that you do have to continually build up just so that you can make sure that the tooth of the paper is not holding on to different colors, instead blends them together. Sorry about the blow in your ear. There we go. So as you can see, we definitely get that dark purple, dark purpley blue color there. Now, if we wanted to go any further, we could actually extend that out and add pink to it, which will give us that lighter purple. So it does do the rainbow blend quite nicely. Now we're going to test for the blender itself. So I use the Caran d'Ache blender, but I don't know where it went. It ran away. There it is. So for pencils that I know are not water resistant, typically I'll use the Caran d'Ache blender. The reason I use the Caran d'Ache blender in those situations is because it does add a layer of protection on your pencils to make sure that that movement isn't going to happen too severely. It isn't going to completely stop it from happening if you have a huge amount of color on there, but it is going to slow it down a little bit. Another thing I like to use on oil-based pencils is the Derwent blender. It does seem to move those quite nicely. So we're going to do a little bit of test on both blenders. So we're going to now make sure that you have a good amount of color on the paper so that the blender can move that color around. Now if you're going to continue coloring in that area, be very gentle with your blender. Don't put a lot of pressure on it, and don't worry about completely covering up the area. Just brighten the colors and move them around slightly so that you know how much you have left to put on the paper. So the reason for a blender is to move those colors together without adding further color. A blender pencil or a blender pen is usually colorless, so it will blend everything together without putting more color on the paper. Now, if you're using a alcohol blender or a liquid blender on top of your colored pencils, I have found that those types of blenders, the liquid blenders, do work very, very nicely. However, some of them do lift up and remove some of your color, especially if it is not water resistant. So be careful of that. If you find that your blender is lifting off the color, stop using the blender. Um, or be very, very sparing on using it. So I'm using the blender, the Derwent blender on the lower half here. And as you can see, it definitely blends those colors together and removes any amount of lines from the blend. So in between the colors, those lines are now very blurred. They're not stark like they are here. So definitely does give us that blend. However, the Derwent blender does lift up quite a bit of pencil, so be very careful and make sure that you have a good amount of pigment on the page. Now for the Caran d'Ache. Again, moving that pigment together, going from light to dark. And as you can see, it is lifting the pigment from the page, which is normal. This is a normal part of using a blender. It is going to do that. And what it is A, a bit of the blender itself being removed and put on the page, but also B, the blender is moving the pigment, not the wax. So it may be lifting up some of the wax. So both worked really well. I do prefer the look of the Caran d'Ache. It did brighten where the other one did not. So let's, and you can't re-blend the area after using the Derwent until you add more pigment. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest using the Caran d'Ache blender over the Derwent. I do find that the Derwent does work really well in blending those together, but it does lift up some of the color, which does remove the, what is the word I'm looking for? Does remove the pigment from the page, which makes you feel like you need to recolor that area. All right, so we're going to blend with white. When we blend with white, and the white is translucent, because it is the same composition as the pencils themselves, you will find that the white pencil is usually the better thing to blend with, as long as it's translucent. However, if it's not translucent and it is very opaque, so if it's like a Prismacolor white or anything that has that opacity, you will find that it's going to lessen the color of your pencil because you are still adding a color. Even if it is translucent, it's still going to lessen that color a little bit because, like I said, you are adding a color. White is the absence of color, but it definitely does show up. So be careful with it. If you do decide that you're going to use your white as a blender, just be aware that the color is going to be dampened a little bit with that white. It's not lifting up the color, it's just covering it up a little bit. So be careful of that if you don't want that to happen. All right, now I'm going to sharpen this, and the thing that we're looking for here is whether or not the white is going to change the color of that area really a lot. So I put the red down to see if it would become that dark pink by using the white. So we're going to start down here in our lightest colors. And as you can see, you can already see the amount of white that's in this pencil by the fact that it is lessening even the lightest of color. It is blending beautifully though, so you are moving those colors together, but it is changing the color of the colors that we have down. So the white does definitely blend the colors, but you are getting less of a amount of color showing up. You will see a lot more of the haziness from the white that you don't see over here with the Caran d'Ache blender. So yes, the white definitely does blend. It did smooth out those transition lines so that they're not so heavy, and it does get rid of the white spot. So it definitely does blend. Now, just going to take a quick look here. can't remember how much they were on Temu. So we're just going to take a quick look. So on Temu, these pencils are $24.99 is what I paid for them. However, there was a price adjustment and they were actually cheaper. So I'm just going to see if I can locate them. Now, the one thing about Temu is just like AliExpress, Wish, and other things such as that, is that when you purchase something from there, um, it can be there for a couple of days, it can be there for a couple of weeks, it could be there for a day, and then it disappears. And that could be a little bit annoying. Now, I do have a notification here that this item has sold out. So um, it is not available at the moment. So unfortunately, I can't even give you a link to the product because it is sold out. So like I said, I paid basically $25 for them, and there's 48 pencils, and they're actually a really good heavy core. The quality is quite nice, and I do prefer a oil-based colors, oil-based pencil, so they are definitely something that fits um, in the realm of what I prefer. It really bums me out that they're not available even in the smaller set. So unfortunately, they're not available. Yeah, so I can't even link them so that you can take a look at them because they're not even showing up there. I just got a message that that was no longer available. So unfortunately, they are not available on the website I purchased them from. So we've got $25 per pencil, or $25 basically, $24.99. $25 for the set divided by 48 pencils. So that works out to be a little bit over 50 cents a pencil, which is quite expensive when you think about it. So I think the price per pencil is a little bit too much for this set of pencils. I'm just going to do the math completely here so that we have an exact amount instead of my guesstimate. So we've got $25 divided by 48 is 52 cents per pencil. So absolutely, um, I do believe that's too high. I think that's a little pricey for the pencils, being that they are a lesser known brand. Um, they're a small set, and that sort of thing. Now, what it does have going for it is that it is a larger core. It is a triangular pencil and that sort of thing, an oil-based pencil. But they don't have names and numbers on the pencils. They don't have names on even the swatch card on the back of the box. So 48 pencils, no names, no numbers on the pencils themselves, and you know, too many greens, too many blues. There's a few different things that I would factor into whether or not that was a good price. They do blend very nicely. They do create the rainbow blend, and they do work well with the blenders. However, they are not water resistant and they do smudge. So I would say that that is a 3 on the scale for the price per pencil. It is a little too high. I would not call these budget friendly at 52 cents a pencil. The color selection, I'm a little disappointed with how many greens and how many blues there are. Together in the set, there's 16 joined together, so 16 out of 48. That only leaves 32 for the other 6 colors. So I think that's a little 7. Yeah, 6 or 7 colors. So I think that's a little off as well. So we're going to knock a star off for color selection as well, because I think it has a really good color selection, but I think it could be better. The saturation, it did very nicely, so we're going to give them full marks for color saturation. And then we're going to give them only 1 mark for open stock because they are not available open stock. They're not even available right now in a full set, so we're definitely going to knock that down to 1. So we've got 3, 4, 5, and 1. So we've got this one, this one, this one, this one, but we failed that one and failed that one. So we've got 7, 8, 17, 7, so 4, 7, 11, 16, 17. So it has a score of 17, which it's not horrible. It's absolutely not horrible. I do feel that it could be a little bit better, but it is definitely not a horrible price or a horrible scoring on these pencils. I do feel that it would be better if they rearrange some of the color selection and lowered that price a little bit. Um, I did use a bunch of different discounts and that sort of thing, which did bring my price down. But when I purchased them, the listed price was $24.99. So with that, that is my first impressions of these pencils. I do find that they do color very, very nicely. I'm going to zoom you out a little bit here so that we can take a look at the full swatch again, um, so that we can take a look at the test results as well as the swatch. Definitely not water resistant. They do move with water. They do move with my hands. They may not move with yours, but they do move with mine. They did a color blend very nicely. They did a rainbow blend very nicely as well. Worked with both the Caran d'Ache as well as the Derwent blender. However, I do prefer the Caran d'Ache blender. And they did blend very nicely with the white. But the white is not completely translucent, so it did change the colors. So it took our red to a pink, took our dark pink to a light pink, and took our light pink to a lighter pink. So it does add that white to it and does make that a little bit less vibrant. So in my findings at $25 for a 48 set, I do find that 52 cents a pencil is a little high. Even though they are a 3.8 millimeter core, um, they are missing a few things that I would consider an artist grade pencil, such as names and numbers on the pencils, um, a full set of pencils, so a larger set with more of the primary colors such as yellows, reds, and that sort of thing. It does have a lot of blue and a lot of green, and I think they could have taken some of those blues and some of those greens and put them into um, a area that has less colors that would be used more, such as our reds here. We've only got 2 actual reds. This one here is more of an orange red, but there's actually only two full reds. They've got a lot of pink and red violet here, which is great. And I think that they should leave that where it is. However, they've got a ton of blue And I'm not talking about these two here because these two here are your aquatic colors, but these ones here, so there's 7 full blues in there. And I think they could have eliminated at least this one or this one. One of these two could have been eliminated. Same with the greens. One of these two could have been eliminated because they almost look identical. However, this one here is darker than this one. But it could have been eliminated. There is no need for both of those. So that would have given you two more pencil colors, or 2 more openings for pencil colors, and you could have put one in your red and one in your yellow and balanced that set out a little bit better. So definitely color selection. I think there's a couple of different places they could improve. Their saturation was wonderful. Once you sharpen the pencil, it covered a lot nicer. However, it does cover quite well just with your straight out of the box, but it does cover a lot better once you sharpen it. To sharpen these, I would definitely suggest the dull 133 crank sharpener or your deli crank sharpeners, anything that is a crank sharpener that will take that 3.8 millimeter core. Let's see, does it show me? It does not show me the actual size of the pencil. It shows you the size of the core, but not the actual size of the pencil. But it does show on here that it does work best with a crank sharpener to sharpen them. All right, open stock, no. They're not open stock, don't even, yeah, they're just not open stock. They're not even available in a full sets right now. They're not available on Amazon. I did look. They may have brought them in at some point. I will look again at the end of this video just to make sure. But I have not been able to see them on Amazon up to this point. But yeah, so with that, I would like to point out the things that I personally really like about the set. Like I said, they do have a really good selection of pinks into our reds, which does give me a lot more of those floral things that I prefer. Um, it does have a good area of the red violets into the violets. I do find that it's missing one of those deep dark purple colors. Again, I can't get over the fact on how much blue there is. I think there's too much. I think it needs to not, cut it down a couple of notches on the blue. Same with the green. There's a couple of greens in there that are redundant and unnecessary. It does give us a good selection of browns. However, I think that it does need one more darker brown. But again, with the blendability of these pencils, you can create those colors that you're missing. The grays themselves are a little bit less than I would prefer, but again, I can take the black, I can add the white, and we've already seen that the white is quite opaque, so you can definitely add that white in there and get that color. It does also have 2 metallics that do have that metallic shine, and it actually does have a good sparkle to those metallics. So that's good as well. So all in all, I think it's a fairly good purchase. Um, I do find that the price per pencil is a little high. And if I would have done the math in my head when I saw them, instead of going, ooh, shiny, I probably wouldn't have bought them at that price. Um, I know that I had a bunch of coupons and that sort of thing, so by the time I was done with them, I'm pretty sure that I didn't pay full price for them, but I might have just because I went, ooh, shiny. Um, but if you are looking at these pencils on Temu and that sort of thing when they come back in stock, keep your eye on them and keep your eye on your discounts because everybody's discounts are different with Temu. Keep an eye on your discounts and see what you have available in prices for them. Again, these are the Tasteful um, artist colored pencils, artist and student grade. which is a 24 or a 48 set on Temu. And yeah, I think they were a good addition to the coloring corner and to my pencil collection. And that's about all I have for today. With that, I would like to say thank you all very much for coming and hanging out. I hope that the video hasn't been too quiet. Again, if you have issues hearing me, please leave a message in the comment section below the video so that I can adjust what I need to adjust to make that a little bit louder for you. And hopefully, figure out what's going on with my software because I have no idea. And hopefully we'll be able to sort that out. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye bye for now.